Hey everyone, it's Dr. Zaina from Prep Doctors, and in this video I'm going to be giving you everything you need to know about the ADAT exam. So over the last year specifically, there has been a lot of questions about the ADAT exam. How can you take it, where to take it, how to prepare for it, all that stuff. This video is going to be divided into three main sections. The first section about what is the ADAT exam, covering everything from where you can take it, who can take this exam, what programs are asking for it, the content, the question format, the topics covered inside it. The second part is how to register for this exam. So from administration window to DENTPIN, ECE, and applying for the ADAT and also booking your seat. The third part is going to be about how to prepare for this exam with a main focus on the Prep Doctors ADAT bridging course. I want to also mention that all the references that I'll be mentioning in this video are going to be included in the description below. So to start off, the definition, what does ADAT stand for? ADAT. It stands for the Advanced Dental Admission Test. It's an American exam governed by the ADA, the American Dental Association. It is mainly an exam used to test someone's ability to analyze biomedical sciences and clinical sciences sections, in addition to interpreting research and biostatistics. It's an analytical and also a clinical exam at the same time. And the purpose of the exam, as it's stated on the website, it's a way for programs to assess an applicant's potential to enter certain postgraduate and advanced programs in dentistry, whether in the US and Canada. Now the question, who can take this exam? Basically, anyone in dentistry, whether you're a student or a graduate from an accredited or non-accredited dental school, which means whether you graduated from America or Canada or you graduated from any other country in the world, or even a student still having graduated can take this exam when they're in their third or fourth year of dental school. At that point, you've covered enough credits and topics related to the clinical sciences and basic sciences sections for you to be able to understand and do this exam. And the programs that ADAT is used in the application process to apply for are mainly postgraduate programs, residency programs, and the IDAP program, which is for internationally trained dentists trying to do 2 years of university, either in the US or Canada. I'm going to go more in depth in that subject in a little bit. And from the practical guide on the ADA website, there's a table that shows you whether you're from an accredited school, non-accredited, you're a student, or you're a graduate, what specific requirements do you need to have in order to apply and take this exam. So you can check that out. That's very helpful as well. Now, where can you take the ADAT exam? This exam can be taken in Pearson VUE centers across the US and Canada. In the US, there are over 200 centers available. In Canada, there's about 10 to 15 centers. Just to mention, Canada now does not give this exam in Quebec anymore. You're also not able to book a test date unless you get the confirmation that you submitted all the requirements and you are eligible to book your date. So that step is going to be last, and we'll talk about that later in the registration part. Now, how many times can you take this exam? This exam is only administered between March 1st of the year to August 31st of the same year. So only in that time that you can take this exam. For your first time, you can take it twice in that cycle. Let's say you did your first attempt in March and then you did your second one in July. That's okay. However, I want to mention as well that in your first 2 attempts, that gap needs to be at least 45 days. So you can't do it, let's say, twice in the same month. If you want to do it a third time, you have to wait for the second cycle, which is the year after that. So let's say you did your first 2 times in 2023, your third time will be in 2024. Between March and August, you can do it only once in that cycle. That will be 3 times so far. And if you need to do it a 4th time, then you have to provide a reason, such as a rejection letter from the university asking you to provide a better score on your ADAT, or a letter from your dean. So for content and preparation, what does this exam consist of? It's 200 MCQs divided over 3 sections: the biomedical sciences, which is 80 questions, the clinical sciences, which is 80 questions as well, and the biostatistics, research and epidemiology section, which is 40 items. There is a table in the candidate guide where it shows the biomedical section, you have to do it in 95 minutes, the clinical science section, 90 minutes, and the research and biostatistics is 45 minutes. The whole exam is 4.5 hours long in one day. You can also see in this table each section the topics that come in and how many items means how many questions that come from the subject. I want to mention as well that the biomedical section and the statistics, the biostatistics, the questions come in standalone MCQs. You get a question and then you get the options, you choose one. As for the clinical sciences section, they can be standalone MCQs or patient case-based questions. For example, you get a patient chart and the dental chart of the patient, or you get some medical history, and then you get a series of questions on that case and you have to choose the right answers for that. So you're gonna face standalone questions and case-based questions. Now for the biomedical sciences section and the clinical sciences, the information is very close to IMBDE and AFK. However, the biostatistics section, the research section, is a little bit new, but it's highlighted on the website. They give you a little bit of insight on the type of questions they're gonna be asking you in this part, like systemic reviews and analyzing the research. They just wanna basically know your understanding of evidence-based dentistry. There's also a 100-question guide posted on the website as well. It includes example questions from the ADAT exam. You can take a look at it and see those type of questions. I recommend that you download it, read the questions to familiarize yourself with the format that they ask and the difficulty level. This 100-question guidebook is listed in the description under practice test. And you can also find reference texts for the reference books that the ADA recommends that you read about if you want to prepare for this exam. Now let's talk about scoring. This exam does not have a raw score and it doesn't have a passing score, which means that the score that you get is going to be a scaled score, an average score of your performance. The score is between 200 to 800. And usually, as of the latest results of 2022 cycle, the results have ranged between 250 as lowest and 720 as the highest. Also to mention that this exam is graded in a way that there is no negative marking. So if you choose the wrong answer, you will not get a negative mark. You will not lose score. That's why it's advisable to choose an answer anyways, even if you don't know the answer. In addition to that, not all the questions are graded as well. So you will get 200 questions. Some questions are testing questions, the trial questions that they put in the exam to test them out and see the performance, but not necessarily all the questions will be graded. Usually scores come out 3 to 4 weeks after you do your exam, and this table will highlight kind of like a percentage of people's performance. So each section you're gonna get a score from 200 to 800, and then the average of the 3 sections will be your final score. Now we're getting to the good part. Which programs accept the ADAT scores? When it comes to Canada, as of 2023, the universities that have declared that they switched from accepting AFK scores to ADAT scores for their IDAP programs for internationally trained dentists are University of Toronto, University of McGill, and University of Saskatchewan. Now, 2 other universities declared that they want ADAT now and not AFK anymore, which are University of Alberta and Manitoba. They have both announced that they will be accepting ADAT scores for the 2025 university intake cycle. Also to mention, for the University of Alberta, it's stated on the website that if you are trying to apply in the cycle of July 1st to November of 2024, for the admission year of 2025, the ADAT will be accepted then. And for the University of Manitoba, it's mentioned that the ADAT must be written no later than March 1st of the application cycle, which means basically for both universities that if you're trying to apply for the university admissions, it's better to do your ADAT before that same year cycle. If you're applying for 2025, try to do your ADAT in 2024. Now that's for Canada. As for the US, There are over 400 programs that require or accept the ADAT as part of their application process. Here's a little bit of example. You can see the endodontics programs, residency, the advanced GP programs in the US. What I recommend is always to check the university website and read about the program before you apply. Get all the details and see exactly which exams they require, whether it's INBDE or ADAT or any other exam, so you can plan ahead and know in advance. It's also included in the description under list of programs that require the ADAT. So this is it for part 1 of the video. What is the ADAT? I tried to cover most of the points and the main questions that are asked about this exam. I'm gonna jump in now to part 2, which is how to register for the ADAT exam. So in this part, I'm going to be covering 5 main points you need to know if you want to register for the ADAT exam, which are administration schedule, creating a DENTPIN, ordering an ECE report, applying to take the ADAT exam, which is the application part, and booking the test date and location. Now, when it comes to registering for the ADAT exam, I recommend that you read a little bit about this step on the ADA website before you start, just to get an idea of what you're going to need and to check the dates, whether the application process is open or when it's going to open later. You're going to go to the website ada.org and you're going to click on search and type in ADAT. It's going to show you the first one. You're going to go to apply for the advanced dental admission test, and you want to read a little bit about, tips for the ADAT application. Like I said, this is the official ADAT candidate guide. This is renewed and updated every year. The latest one right now is the 2023 guide. Highly recommend to read this before you start your application, just to get an overview of what to expect on the exam. I've used this guide as my reference for this video as well. You can get all the tables, the charts, and the information that you need up to date to know more about the ADAT before you jump in and start preparing. As for the administration schedule, like I mentioned before, this exam is only administered in a fixed period of time in every calendar year. That time is usually between March 1st and August 31st of every year. It is recommended on the website that you submit your application at least 60 days before you intend to take the exam. That way you can ensure that you are eligible, you can book your seat in the right time frame, and that you are not going to miss the cycle. Because if August 31st passes, then you have to wait for the next year to do this exam. So to save time, it's advisable to do your DENTPIN and your ECE report before March 1st to August 31st. That way you have everything ready, and when the application opens, you can apply and you'll get the confirmation to register for the exam, and that way you're ready to take it starting March 1st to August 31st. The application time usually opens about 2 to 3 months before March. So let's say beginning of the calendar year or a little bit late in the year before. If you're able to get everything done, the application, the confirmation, and you manage to book your seat early in March, that way you know that in case you don't get the score that you want in March, then you can do the exam again later in that same cycle. And that way you give yourself a better chance to get the score that you want without having to waste any time or wait for the next year. As for the fees of this exam, it's a $415 US, in addition to a $350 fee for graduates or students of non-accredited dental schools. So step number 1, creating a DENTPIN. Just like INBDE, the DENTPIN is your ID. It's what you need to hold on to as an identification to access your account, know your results, apply for the ADAT. Basically, it's your driver's license for this exam. So start off with that. I'm going to show you on the website. This is the ADAT page on the ADA website, ada.org. If you scroll down, you're going to see Get a DENTPIN. You're going to click on there. If you already have a DENTPIN, it's better that you retrieve it. And as you can see here, the exams that require a DENTPIN are ADAT, INBDE, the DAT, and those other exams. So I'm gonna go here and sign in. The next step is getting your ECE report. ECE stands for Educational Credential Evaluation. And what is that used for? It's basically a system used to convert your degrees from your country into the equivalent of US and Canada. So you send in your transcripts, your documents, they will convert them, and that helps in the application process to determine that you've done the right amount of credits and the courses needed to be eligible to do this exam. The main purpose of the ECE in this step is to order a report. I'll summarize it easily for you. If you are applying to the Canadian universities, mainly what you want to request is the general report or the course-by-course grade report. If you are applying to the US universities, it's better and more common to be requesting the course-by-course report. So to start the report, you're going to go to the website ece.org, and then you're going to go to credential evaluations, applicants to US institutions, not Canadian, and I'm going to tell you why later. You're going to type in your email and password. If you don't have an account, create an account, and then you're going to log in. You're going to get these two things. This step can get a little bit confusing because you think that, okay, I'm applying to University of Toronto, I should click on Canada Assessment Report. The answer is no. You should choose US Evaluation Report, even if you're applying to Canadian institutions. So for Canadian and US schools, choose US Evaluation Report, because the governing body of this exam is located in the US. So click on US, start US application. So for the ECE report, it's mainly divided into 3 steps. Step 1 is going to be giving your personal information, the institution you want to deliver your report to, the type of report, and why you're ordering the report. Step 2 is going to be more focused on the required documents you need to provide to get that report and choosing the report that you want to send. And step 3 is just agreeing to the terms and the payment. So I'm going to walk you through that quickly here on the screen. So as you can see, we're in step 1 right now. You have to fill up your information. I'll just do it quickly. Check everything and then click continue. The institution receiving the ECE report, you're gonna type in JCNDE, Joint Commission on National Dental Examinations. The same one for IMBDE, ADAT, ADA. So this is where your report is gonna be sent to after it's done. We're gonna save this. If you wanna add any more institutions, you can do that, but I'll just keep this one for now and click continue. What is the purpose for ordering a report? Mainly it's further education. You can choose anything else. And education level is graduate. Field of the study is dentistry. Click continue. Now, this is where people get lost. If you're applying for a Canadian school, you can choose either course by course or general report with grade average, or general report. Any of these work for Canada. As for the US, it's better to just choose the course by course report. So I'm gonna just choose this one for now and click continue. So now we're in step 2, which is where you're gonna fill out your education history and see how you can submit your documents to get the report. So just some information about your degree. If you have any change of name, state it here, because you need to make sure that your name on the report is going to match your name on the application, in addition to the name on your ID. You must submit documents for all credentials you wish to have evaluated. Yes. Save education history. Now my education is saved here. If you have any other degrees or post-grad certificates, you can add them as well, so you can have multiple education, and click on continue. Now automatically, because I chose in my education history Lebanon, so it's telling me what I need to be providing. This part is very important. Read it very well. You're going to see which email that you're going to be sending your documents to. Here it's ecemail@ece.org. Your documents need to be sent directly from your institution, which is directly from your school. Make sure the dates are good, everything is signed. This is for electronic documents, and this table is very important. This is what you need to provide. For myself, I need to give the high school diploma that I got, a university diploma or degree, the original one, grade report, official transcript. This is also from your school, issued in a sealed envelope. If your documents are in your country's language, if your document's not in English, then you have to submit a translation as well. You may prepare the translations yourself as long as they are complete, literal, word by word, and in the same format as the original document. There's more information about submitting your documents, and then once you have everything ready, then you can click on continue. This is the mailing address. So this is the ECE address where your transcripts would be sent from your university institution post office to this address directly. And for electronic documents, this is the email. Again, everything is very clear on this website, and then click continue. Now we're on the third step, which is the last step of ordering your ECE report. You can choose a 5-day rush service for an extra fee, or no rush service, and click continue. Review your application. Just look quickly at everything you added if you want to add something else, and then my total here is going to show. This is all in US dollars, of course, and once you review everything, you can click on continue. Just a customer agreement form. You can sign and submit. And the last step is the payment. You can pay through Visa or MasterCard. And that's it. You click continue and you submit. Now that you have created your DENTPIN and you have ordered your ECE report, that's taken care of. The third step is going to be applying to take the ADAT exam, which is basically filling out your application through the ADA to do this exam. It's advisable to start your application as soon as it opens. That way you can get your confirmation, you can plan ahead, and you can do your exam as early in the cycle as possible, which is March or April. So to start the application, you're going to go to the ADA website and log in your DENTPIN account. And if the application cycle is open, you just have to click on apply for ADAT. Just a little reminder as well, when you're submitting your application for the ADAT, they will ask you which schools do you want to submit your application to. At that point, the reports that you add are $0. They're free. So try to add as many as you can in that time, because later on, if you submit your application and then you decide to add a report, then it's an extra $50 every time you want to add a report. Follow the steps. Submit the documents that are required to do so. They should have already received your ECE report at that time, because ECE, you do it before then, and everything should be set. So once you submit your application, you're going to wait for an eligibility confirmation email that will be having an ID inside it, which is a number or a code that says, we reviewed your application, we received your ECE report, you can book your exam now, and that will lead you to step 4 and the final step in registering for the ADAT exam, which is booking your seat. Exams are held in Pearson VUE centers across the US and Canada, except Quebec. What you're going to do is you're going to go on the Pearson VUE website, and I'm going to show you here. The website is home.pearsonvue.com. To make things easier, just type in the exam that you want to take, and then I'm typing here ADAT. So this is going to give you some information about the ADAT exam, which is very helpful. You can see an ADAT tutorial. So this is basically just a little clip of how the exam is going to look like on your screen when you go to the exam. Some people find it helpful, but what's interesting is that you can click on Find a Test Center, And let's say you want to look for a test center near Toronto, and it shows you all the locations of Pearson VUE centers administering your exam. And then what's going to happen is that you're going to create an account or sign into your account. You're going to put in your eligibility confirmation number and just choose the date and location available nearest to you and just book your exam. So that's it for registering for the ADAT exam. I'm going to be jumping into the third and final part of my video, which is how to prepare and study for the ADAT. One of the main questions asked about the ADAT exam is that, can I take an AFK course and do my ADAT after and still get a good score on it? So the answer to that is that the AFK covers a big portion of the ADAT exam topics, especially when it comes to the clinical sciences section. Also, the basic sciences is covered in AFK, but there are certain important topics like physiology, biochemistry, microbiology. They come frequently in the ADAT. They make a big portion of it, but in the AFK, they're not really covered in depth. And that's why you need training and practice on the basic sciences section to be ready for the ADAT. In addition to the full 40 items that come in the ADAT exam, which are the research, epidemiology, and biostatistics section, that is not included in the AFK exam. So you really need to have your hands on and practice that part of the ADAT exam as well. This is why Prep Doctors has introduced ADAT Bridging course, which is an 8-week course specifically tailored to students who have taken AFK in the past or even IMBDE and have covered most of the clinical sciences sections, and they need that extra practice and specific training on the ADAT format and questions, specifically in the basic sciences and the research and biostatistics sections. So to show you here, prepdoctors.ca is the website, and you're gonna go to courses and you're gonna see ADAT Bridging course. It's, like I said, 8 weeks long. There are 3 cycles in the year, November, February, and April. It's completely online, and you're gonna get 80+ hours of training, passing guarantee. This is very important. You're gonna get 2 full mocks and discussions for those, so covering all the sections of the exam. And you're gonna get 3 clinical science mocks and discussions. This is gonna help you go over all the clinical science topics and sections, including 9 quizzes as well. And just a little bit, you can read over the website on the overview, read a little bit about the ADAT exam, what the course includes, and our passing guarantee. Now for the last question I'm going to be covering in this video, which is, when should you take the ADAT Bridging course? Honestly, that depends on when are you going to take the exam. Try to take the course as close as possible to the exam so your mind and your memory is fresh. Also, if you are planning to do the AFK exam as well, it is recommended to do the AFK in parallel with the ADAT. That's why both are courses structured to run smoothly and simultaneously with each other. That way you would be preparing for the AFK fully and going in depth in all the clinical sciences. And then you have that bit of the basic sciences and the biostatistics part, which will be covered in the ADAT Bridging course over the 8 weeks. And by the end, you'll be ready for the AFK and the ADAT as well. So we've reached the end of our ADAT video. All the links mentioned in this video are going to be in the description below. Drop your questions in the comments or email us at info@prepdoctors.ca. Make sure you follow our social accounts across Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I hope this was helpful to everyone who was watching. I wish you all the best and good luck on your exams.